I'm Alp Toker, that's my colleague Işık Mater. We're in Istanbul. We try to monitor censorship, especially internet shutdowns. Internet shutdowns are a very pernicious form of censorship because they shut off a huge mass of people. It's the silencing of millions of people at the same time. This is a question of turning off the internet to silence voices, independent voices, often during national emergencies, during crises when we should be communicating. During these times, we need to communicate with one another, and there are some people who would rather that we don't do that. This is a problem that we've had in Turkey over the last few years, and it was very difficult to detect these issues. Even though it affects everyone, it can be passed off as something else, as a technical issue or a coincidence. So we found the need for data, raw data, that could actually prove this, and we needed a methodology to prove that. So I didn't just get into this by coincidence. I was in Ankara in 2015. I was visiting, and there was this so-called Islamic State terror attack on a peaceful rally. I wasn't participating, but I was nearby. And in the aftermath, in all the tragedy, all these people, the survivors, those who were injured in some cases, tried to reach out to their family. They tried to reach out for help. And during that time, the internet kind of stopped working. Services stopped working. Social media started slowing down. And this was the worst possible moment for this to happen, because those people couldn't reach out to their loved ones, they couldn't reach out for help, and they couldn't reach out to the media. They couldn't tell their version of events. So false narratives started to form. So-called fake news or false information started to spread because the media couldn't get through to the source of information. Nobody knew what was going on. It was a terrifying situation, not just for the people there, but for the whole country. Instead of countering terrorism, this actually encourages, this creates fear in a society. So our mission was born around then. And Turkey has built this technology. We use these great little computers, Raspberry Pi computers, and a few other techniques to really try to use a verified methodology to detect things, document issues, censorship on the internet, especially mass shutdowns, but also blocking of individual sites, which are now the basis of all media. All media basically runs through the internet. And without a free internet, there can be no press freedom, there can be no freedom of expression. And we've seen this collapse in Turkey. We've seen it firsthand. And now we're starting to see it in other countries as well. So we want to try to also bring some of these solutions to the rest of the world. We've started to roll up a bit of our tech as an open source, as an open technology project that we can actually share now with other countries. I mean, you see this need in China, Vietnam, Pakistan, India, around the world, Cameroon, Bahrain, especially. Each one has its own horrific regime of internet censorship, which often covers up much more serious human rights violations. So this is actually the beginning of the story. This is actually covering up something much worse that we often don't know about. So we've now set out to do netblocks.org, which is Turkey blocks, but for other countries. And we're hopeful that we can start solving this, because we need to keep the internet up, we need to keep it on. It's especially great to be here with Index, because they have Mapping Media Freedom, which is also about mapping censorship, and it's a bit of an inspiration. We've also had Access Now, who've been brilliant. They just fight internet shutdown.